This conference will now be recorded.
Present.
Commissioner Rogers?
Here.
Commissioner Spielman?
Here.
Commissioner Warren?
Here.
Mayor Gay?
Here. We will now have opening prayer and pledge of allegiance. If you want to join us, you may stand, please. Drake Kent will do the prayer. Quentin Beeson will do the pledge of allegiance. Okay.
Bow your head and close your eyes. Dear God, thank you for everyone's support and the loving community. Please protect the soldiers fighting for our country. Please help the people who are sick and the people who are lost. Thank you for all your blessings, and please help the people in our country. Please help us with everything that the needs that fix and everything that needs fixing. Just name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And so, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, so under new business, we need to add a resolution to have a special commission meeting at 5 p.m. on August 2nd. That would be for an executive session to review the city manager's evaluation. And then we need to remove an item under old business, that would be the rezoning. The applicant has removed his application for that, so we just need to remove that from the agenda.
Okay. Any discussion?
I make a motion, we approve the addition and the deletion as discussed. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as written or as amended. Any further discussion? All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now have award and proclamations. We have a proclamation, National Disability Independence Day in Arkansas City, and Grant Beeson.
Office of the Mayor, Arkansas City, Kansas. Proclamation. National Disability Independence Day is celebrated each year on July 26th, and this year it is commemorates the 32nd anniversary of the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act on July 26, 1990, and this legislation established a clear and comprehensive national mandate for the elimination of discrimination against individuals with disabilities, and ADA provides protection from employment and other forms of discrimination by reducing barriers and changing perceptions, increasing full participation in community life, and providing better access to goods, services, and communications for people with disabilities. And although ADA has helped millions of Americans with disabilities to achieve equal treatment for disabled individuals, there still are barriers to public accommodations, of which government cooperations and business owners need to be aware. And the full promise of ADA only will be reached if we remain committed to continue our efforts to implement it fully. And throughout the year and on the anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, this city and its Equal Opportunities and Accessibility Advisory Board celebrate and recognize the progress that has been made by reaffirming the principles of equality and inclusion, and recommitting our efforts to reach full ADA compliance. The mayor, the mayor of the city of Arkansas City, Kansas, does hereby proclaim Tuesday National Disability Independence Day in the city of Arkansas City, and hereby affirm that the city and its citizens will continue to work toward full compliance with the Americans with Disability Act.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
Do we have anyone?
Those are hard words, buddy.
Guys, great job. Okay. So do we have any comments? The public? No? I'm sorry? No? Okay. Okay. Consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the July 5th, 2022 regular minutes meetings as written. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. New business?
First item on the agenda is consider a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by B&B Bridge Company LLC to replace the 15th Street Bridge number 10 located north of Crawford Lane for an amount not to exceed $399,495.
I came before you, I think, sometime last year to get the agreement to do this project to replace bridge number 10. This project is part of the Kansas Local Bridge Improvement Program. It's where the community receives $150,000 at a 90-10 split, with $150,000 max reimbursement from the state. The remaining portion, I believe, is through the local government. We received 3 bids. We put this out for an electronic bid. We received 3 bids yesterday. The 3 bidder was B&B Construction. The second bidder was Reese Construction. And the third bidder was L&M Construction. All 3 qualified, pre-qualified by the state of Kansas to do this work. They all acknowledged we did have one addendum that bid documents. All 3 acknowledged the bid documents, and all 3 submitted a 5% bid bond with their bid documents. So if something, if they end up backing out, then I think that they're responsible to pay that 5% of the original bid as you negotiate with another contractor. However, the 3 bids that we received, I think you have the bid tabs behind there. Reese Construction had a bid of $529,172. Reese Construction had a bid of $457,780.16.
Just for clarification, the first one you read was L&M Contractors?
Yes, L&M Contractors.
You stated it as Reese.
I apologize for that. Thank you. Yeah, the first one was L&M Contractors, and that was $529,170. I don't see the decimal point. Reese Construction was the next bid, $457,780.16. And B&B Construction was $399,495.75. My estimate for this project was $439,260. I would recommend that you approve B&B as the low bidder.
Have you,
for this project.
have they done work for you before? I mean,
Yes, they're currently doing work in Cowley County.
Okay.
Bridge, and they're in the vicinity.
that's Bridgeway there. Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually out of the southeast part of the state. They're through Beechner Construction. They're a part of Beechner.
I know before on that bridge, if I remember right, that we had some study done on the drainage and stuff. It looks like that wouldn't cost as much as what it amounted to before, there a year or two ago. Was that right? Or
Now, what was that?
the drainage that came down to that bridge? 'Cause, they're going to have detour some water or something.
We talked about kind of doing a little bit of rerouting of that area, and then, is that correct? And then
Well, we are not rerouting the
Yeah.
channel through there, no. I think originally what we were going to do was going to do some bank stabilization around the curve. However, there was some issues with obtaining right-of-way in that area.
Okay.
I think this department passed away. So
But that won't affect what's going
that will
on.
not affect this part
Okay.
of the project. I will say that the bids, within the last year or so have been quite a bit higher than, just with all the work that's going on, we've been seeing like 20 to 25% increase from what the bids have been coming in. So I think you got a fair bid as far as this project goes. I think originally, when we scoped this project, it was like in a $330,000 range, which was over a year ago.
Yeah, that's not too bad from that.
Yeah, I think it's around 20% increase from that. So as far as that goes, I think you did get a favorable bid. We have been seeing other projects come in higher than the engineer's estimate.
How soon can they get on this?
And so to try and get a good bid, we sort of gave them a larger window. So they're proposed to start the late start date, which would be March 31st of next year, which is okay with the program. As long as we have contracts in place before the end of the year, then we won't lose.
And like the steel and all that stuff, they'll
Locked in at this price.
Okay.
And I did want to mention at staff level, when we've been budgeting for this project, we were looking at the engineering estimate is the number we're working with. So where they were not the low bidder, thankfully,
Yeah.
we'll be in better shape financially, or budgetarily at the city level on paying our portion.
So the cost breakout to us is what? You receive tell me that. What's the cost breakout to?
So the state's grant will pay $150,000, and we have the rest of it. So of 400, so we have another, what, 250,000?
So our local cost is 250,000.
We've already got that budgeted.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just voicing it just so our millions of viewers have a number in front of them of planning, but that's a budgeted amount is what you're saying. So thank you.
Well, I'd like to, go ahead.
One other thing, and how does that work? I mean, you say, so we're locked in this, if there are any cost changes to, they absorb those? Okay, so we won't come back with, we're not likely to, does that include change orders?
All right. So if there is, for whatever reason, during the construction of the project, that certain bid items do change, whether they increase or decrease. So if they decrease, then the contractor would get paid less. And if they increase, then the contractor would get paid that unit price that's shown on there. And since you guys are already above that 150,000, it would be incurred entirely by
The
city.
municipality, so any change orders
That increases.
is above, okay, but
There
actually,
is the potential to underrun certain items because we have piling in there. When they go to drive piling, they may not drive the full length. If they hit rocks sooner than anticipated. Typically, there shouldn't be any significant overruns on this project.
All right, and then city manager, you mentioned that your math was based on the engineers, our engineering estimate, so we kind of have some wiggle room in that. Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to approve a bid submitted by, was it B&B Bridge Company to replace the 15th Street Bridge 10 located north of Proffer Lane for an amount not to exceed $399,495.75.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to frustrate you all with this, but, so we used their bid amount for a resolution, which we just discussed. If there are change orders, would potentially, so we would have to come back and take a subsequent action to this to say we're going, oh, it's not going to be $400,000, it's going to be 410 or 412. So we got to take a follow-up action to authorize the $12,000 additional dollars or whatever that might be.
Any change orders will be brought back before the commission.
Okay. And what might happen if, for some hypothetical, unforeseeable, godforsaken reason, they went above what our internal engineering estimate might look like, or does look like? We just keep.
Well, I mean, hopefully we don't see it as such a high. I guess it depends on what happens. If it's really extremely high, at that point, I think we have to make a decision whether we just don't do the project at all, or if we may want to look at other, like maybe financing methods for it.
Okay.
We'll just have to, I guess, address that when it comes along.
Okay. I mean, I know that it's not likely with this window between our internal estimate and the bid that we're going to bump that, but just.
Yeah, they're locked into that bid. Unless, I mean, just for instance, you say that they want to replace additional pavement. You can authorize them to replace additional concrete pavement at that unit price, or not. So you have flexibility.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Satisfied?
Okay. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Consider a resolution adopting by the city's 2022 comprehensive fee schedule and repealing resolution number 2021-10-342.
Signing that notice of award, I'll take that back. Secretary, she will start putting together the contract documents. She'll send it to the contractor. Contract documents. Liability and everything. Once we have a completed contract document, we'll send it to the city for final signature.
So who's looking at that on paper? What page is that?
No,
That link is,
no, she signed a contract that she brought down.
yeah, I just wanted to, my link is not, it's only taking me to the next page instead. It was like page 34 or something like that.
The fee schedule.
We get down there.
I'm sorry, but we kind of. Hit that punch on, push that little, takes me to the page.
Yeah, we didn't get it fixed today. Good job.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
On that resolution, do we need a motion?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to.
Yeah, it starts at 30 minutes.
31. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
I move we adopt the reference of the city's 2022 comprehensive fee schedule and repealing resolution number 2021-10-442.
Second.
Before you vote, I just want to make sure you guys know that this additional sheet we added the non-for-profit, I believe is what was changed from what was in your packet. So just saying that you're voting on there.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Consider a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a contract program with the Secretary of Transportation with street resurfacing project grant for the North Summit Mill and Overlay.
So this is the project we're already doing. Department of Transportation didn't get the contract to us for signatures, so we need to get that done here. We're about ready to do our first draw on that program, so we'll need to get that approved and signed and stuff. So that's what's going on there. This project's already in works, just the contract.
When's that project supposed to end or completed?
Hopefully by the end of next week.
Yeah.
They're 2 weeks ahead of schedule. That's the best they can tell us.
There's been quite a bit of work on the gutters and drive entrances and stuff, so it's been taking some time. And they didn't have to do as many base repairs as originally thought, so they were able to use some of that dollar to do some additional gutter work and things. So, but we're hoping next weekish, maybe a week following it, the worst case scenario. Definitely before school starts.
That's the language I wanted to hear. So,
Well, that being said, I make a motion, we consider a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to enter into a cost share program with the Secretary of Transportation, Kansas Department of Transportation, KDOT, the street resurfacing project, North Summit Mill Levy, Mill and Overlay, number 21-PF-002.
I second that motion. Mayor.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify with aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Consider a resolution authorizing a public meeting of the governing body of the city of Kansas City to attend a special city commission meeting at 5 p.m. Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022.
That was the one we added to the agenda. Yeah.
Yes. Any discussion?
No?
I'll make the adjustment. I actually did. I'm sorry, I didn't notify the governing body. I notified the city manager that I accepted an assignment that was going to make me unavailable on that date. I think it's that I participate in that special session. So I'll make the adjustment so that I can be there on the 2nd at 5 o'clock.
Okay. Motion.
I move we authorize a public meeting of the governing body of the city of Arkansas City to attend a special city commission meeting at 5 p.m. Tuesday, August the 2nd, 2022.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And all in favor signify with aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Yes, sir?
Language that I know it'll clarify that, but specify that, it is a public meeting, but the discussion will not be held publicly, right? in the
Correct.
Yeah,
We just have to hold a meeting and then go into an exec session.
yeah, executive session.
We can't just hold
And
a
I'm
session without meeting.
kind of just thinking, don't want people crowding into the room wanting to think they're going to have their say. So we'll convene, we'll go in executive session. Out. Adjourn on that, okay?
All right. Next. City manager, staff report presentations.
Yeah, so I think this first part, at the last meeting, commission asked to have a little more background on the code enforcement issues at 822 North First Street. So I asked Mike Bellis to come and Chief Burr as well, so they can kind of update you on what they're doing at the staff level.
Madam Mayor, City Commissioners, good evening. Property at 822 has been in code violation for the past 5+ years. We notified the property owner of the code violations 5+ years ago with a certified letter. And since then, he has done some improvements to the property, cleaning it up and such, but not enough. For up to date, there is some stuff in there that has to be still taken care of. And to me, 5 years is enough. To me, I need to go ahead and go to the next phase, which is bring it before you city commissioners to have it voted on with other properties that to be deemed as a dangerous structure.
What, is there electricity there or not?
No electricity there yet.
How long has that electricity been off?
3+ years.
They got water going there,
They do now, yes.
but the water was off for a while.
Yes, sir.
Believe we clarified there's an allowance with the volume level for use of, what do we call those things?
Generators.
Generators, that the resident, the occupant has used in the interim time without the electrical services.
The generator was permitted to be used during a certain time from, I think it was from 8 to 6 p.m., 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it was supposed to be just used for construction work only. A generator is not a good thing to have to be able to have power to a house because of CO2 gas. And then also too, you can have freight wire ran to it and it can cause a fire.
Yeah, that, and the thing about that is just my interpretation, you're the expert in this. That seems like it describes something that's not really a generator for a restricted period per day. Seems like it's not something you're intending for somebody to live in at the time, maybe just to have the necessary utility to do work in there, run power tools and things like that.
Yes, sir.
But that kind of describes something that says, we understand just, I mean, you can't turn the generator off at 6 o'clock in the evening and the temperatures plummet to -2 degrees Fahrenheit and that be a safe structure for someone. So then you start seeing other things like that. Is the property secured? Is it typically to satisfaction secured after this 6 p.m. time period, whatever outside of this generator time?
After the 6 p.m., that was for cleanup. And then also too for the generator, after 6 p.m., then I told the occupant that he needs to have the generator off so it's not interfering with noise level with anybody, with the neighbors or anybody else.
Well, I mean, is it satisfactorily locked, secured so that there can't be, I don't know, children wandering in or anything or others?
That I can't say. I don't know for sure, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, it started in 2017 and 2022, and looks like to me he's had plenty of time to get things done. He hadn't done it, and I think we ought to go to the next level and If he's got, if he can get her done, but, that's too much time.
I will say this,
In that area, that's suffering from it.
I will say this, that he has made some progress on certain things, but like I said, not near enough for a 5-year period. Any other questions?
What do you need from us?
Tonight, this was just an update, yeah.
Yeah, just an update, but
On the situation.
So you'll bring us, our next meeting, you'll bring us back to what you're gonna have to do then, or?
If you, act any action you might.
Well, what we'll do, in the next 30 to 45 days, I'm gonna have quite a few houses to instructions to do that. And so I was gonna bring this in at the same time too, as a dangerous structure for you all to vote on.
Okay.
do you want it? Go ahead.
No, I didn't know if Chief Burr wanted to update anybody on
Thank you.
things that they've dealt with at the police level. I know there was a lot of things kind of brought up the other meeting, so.
Good evening. So at the city manager's request, I did do some digging as far as the numbers of calls that we have fielded down at 820 and 822 South First Street. And so I went back the 5 years, January 1st of 2017. And so typically, as law enforcement officers, we get called out to neighborhood disputes quite often. And I would say that this is one of the most contentious ones that we've dealt with, especially for a longer period of time, being 5 years. In looking at it, we had about 130 calls for service in about a 5-year span. And those range from noise complaints to animal complaints to harassment, stalking, even allegations of physical assault and battery. So both parties call the police department on different occasions. But at the end of the day, what we would like to do is looking at some type of mediation between the parties. I know this has gone on for quite some time, but I just don't know what it's going to take for both parties to agree at some middle ground at some point. So more than anything else, I wanted to let you know that we have received a lot of calls for service from both parties, and that when we go to those calls for service, we do the best we can with the information that we have at that time. And that we would like to see some resolution, especially between the parties at some point.
So what would you recommend? I mean, off the top of your head, on that.
Really what it boils down to is they have to come to some common ground on what their dispute with each other is. And it could be a personality conflict. So I don't know if getting them together in a room together talking is appropriate. But with the situation with their properties being adjacent to each other, that's a tough thing. And we would always like to see that no matter where it is in our Kansas City, that neighbors can get along. But with this situation, it's extended for a period of time. So.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Charles.
Mr. Chief, for 5 years of neighbors, at odds with each other in such a contentious way, it would seem like at some point in time that, that you might bring in like Poor County and have them to do an observation of the dispute and see if there aren't underlying matters, that just, after 5 years, are these property owners or property?
They're both owners.
Owners? Okay, well then, you would think at some point in time that someone would, build a fence or sell the property and move somewhere else, but 5 years to live beside one that you can't stand their guts, just kind of says, I think there's probably a place for like someone that's adept in mental health counseling.
Sure.
the
And I
inter,
think that would be contingent on both parties being willing to participate in that conversation. That's definitely something that we can entertain.
well, I mean, if it's gone from disagreements and arguing to any intimations of threats or actions of hostility against one another, I think those, don't those trigger some intercession by at least a mental health agent at that point, or do we have
Yes,
to?
we could. Yeah, we will definitely dig into that and see if that's something that both parties would want to participate in.
I mean, 5 years is just a long time not to be able to come up with some way to peacefully live together, or just accept that, I just accept that Jay's not going to change, and I'm just done trying to change him, and he is who he is, and, if I don't like him, I just don't talk to him, or I, look the other way. But for us to, every time we come in here and sit down together, go back and forth at each other, I would think that at some point in time, somebody says, you know what, I think there's probably some emotional support that needs to happen between these two guys if they can't sit in a room together and have a civil conversation, or just not talk to each other, not interact,
Well, but it goes beyond that, Charles. It goes beyond it. You got the person that has, since 2017, has not kept up on what he should be doing on
I agree.
on that house. And you got people live in that area that's, whether, if he doesn't have electricity, he's got generators going. I can see noise going all around, all nights and stuff. I mean,
that's the code side of it.
That's code side of it.
But the chief has said 5 years and 130 calls to the PD, and that's a different issue. And so there, I think at that point, then you have to deal with the what's the people dynamic and that, because ultimately, it's either going to escalate, and if it doesn't escalate, it just means that there's some sort of, it's almost like a game they're playing between each other that needs a referee. I don't think you guys want to be the referee, but I think we have the resources out at Fort County that could probably interface and it's borderline, never mind, I won't say that piece. It just seems like at some point, over 5 years, you find an accord, or you just, I always say, you either get along or you just get along, type of thing. Okay.
Thank
Just a thought.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
So both parties are here tonight, and I will give you 3 minutes to address the commission if you so need to. Mr. Nichols?
Yes, thank you. Yes, 5 years since it has been going on for 5 years, being harassed by my neighbors using the police to harass me. And it's kind of hard to bring my house up to code when I'm constantly having to bring my yard up to code, and with my construction materials, worried about bringing the yard up because it's being reported by my neighbors that, with code enforcement. And so there I am out here, instead of finishing my siding or finishing, doing my drywall or whatever, I've got to work on my yard. So I freeze through the winter. And I did have a generator. I had a DeWalt Ultra Quiet, which is like the Hondas, I don't know if you're familiar with, the 2,000 watt, which are ultra quiet. They run 60 decibels. And they complained about that. I got a citation at 5 o'clock in the afternoon for noise disturbance. And even the officer that came, had said, yeah, it's not loud. I mean, I had it outside, because of I don't want, to see the gases and stuff from the exhaust. I'm doing what I can. I've got pictures of my phone I can show you from when I bought it and from where it is now. It's totally different. I put a lot of work and money into it, and time. And the people, one more thing, the people I bought the house from, they sold it to me, and it had been in their family since 1900, and they sold it to me because of my neighbors. I'm like, well, I'm from Oklahoma, I can get along with anybody, but I've definitely been proven wrong, I just want to be, I don't want to be harassed, you know, and I feel like something should be done about the excessive harassment and,
I want to ask you a question. How come you don't have electricity? I mean,
okay, let's see, 3 years ago, I was hit by a train and I got behind and it got me off work for a couple months. I got behind on my bills and my electric got shut off and I illegally turned it back on. And I got fined. I paid my fines. I got my electric bill paid for, but I have to get a complete upgrade. Okay, so, and I'm not an electrician, but I do have, I finally have all my materials to get it installed. So now it's just a matter of getting money together to have the installer install it by a licensed professional. But I do have everything to put it together. Just got to get it.
you know, that's
At that phase.
that's one of the code, the problems, you know, right now that you're having, you don't have electricity, you know, I mean, that's a code violation, you know, and you've got neighbors around there, you know, with that generator going on and stuff.
Ultra quiet, sir. We're
I
talking
understand that.
Whereas it's not heard. And in fact, I didn't get that one call went out at 6 o'clock in the morning. He didn't even know it was on until he went to his truck to start his 150 decibel semi that sits out there. But I never complained about that, you know, and I mean, it's ultra quiet. It proved it all national and state parks nationwide, you know, and for 24/7. But I can't run it. I can't even be in my house after 6 o'clock. I'm homeless after 6 o'clock. That's crazy. I can't believe that I'm sitting there walking the streets after 6 o'clock at night. It's crazy.
Difficult. So
Thank you.
what's the timeline for, you saying you have the materials
You try to have everything to put the electric.
to get the electrical service started back?
Yes, sir.
How long is?
I need an electrician. I got to get the funds together to get a licensed electrician to come put it together.
Okay, so you have to do the funding first and then identify an electrician to do that work after that. So that might just look in your crystal ball and say, is that 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 9 weeks, a year? What do you think?
90 days, maybe.
Huh?
Maybe 90 days, within the next 90 days.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. You're raising your hand. Are you a party to this? Are you, yes, are you a party to this? How are you a party to this?
I've been in a relationship with Robert Nicholas for the last, August to be 4 years with the exception of a short period of time.
Okay,
State her name also, please.
state your name and your address and we will.
Gilbert, and my address was 822 South First Street.
Okay, we'll allow you 3 minutes.
I just wanted to say, like I said, I've been with Robert will be 4 years now, with an exception of a short period of time not that long ago. He had an affair and I left, but he ended up in jail and I came back, and in the last 3 weeks I have completely cleaned that place up. It's not even, you wouldn't even recognize it by myself. So I know that, and I have a master electrician that's willing to come, but Mike Bellis also told me, he gave me permission to clean it up and to do the work, but then came and told me that I wasn't allowed to do it, or else I would already have siding up and ready for everything except for the electrician to come and do it. And I've done that in a very short period of time. He's went over there and seen, and the property is secure because I built a fence and put a gate on it with a lock on it and locks on the doors and windows, so there isn't access for children. I mean, I don't know what all, I have worked day and night on this house, and, well, not night, because I'm not allowed to be there, but I mean, I have worked constantly and steadily. And I mean, I know I can bring it up to code. I would have probably already been at that point, except with the exception of the time restraint, and well, I mean, if you knew what I did in the last 3 weeks, you'd be surprised. I mean, yeah. That's really all I have to add. And as far as the neighbors, yes, there's been, I personally have never, I don't talk to them. I don't react to their, you know, they do stand out there and call me names. I mean, like really evil names and scream at me. And I just don't even give them the satisfaction of a response. You know, I just keep walking inside. But, I think it's stupid. You know, I mean, the crap that's been going on between the, you know, the two houses for all this time is really troubling.
Madam Mayor, can we just obtain this to just like?
Yeah,
things
that's
addressing
That's what I was
code?
trying
Thank
to
you.
do.
Thank
That's all
you.
I wanted to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like, maybe we need to further insight. I think if I heard correctly, she said she was wanting to proceed with the electrical service and was prohibited by the code officer, Mr. Bellis. And
Could you repeat that, sir? I'm sorry.
well, did I understand it correctly? She was talking about having an electrician available, and is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay.
But I needed to get the inside of the house, you know, clean and everything ready for.
So what
so
was
that you
your,
can access it and work on it.
The house has windows, the house has doors, it's locked, it needs electrical work. And you're saying you can get it in 90 days.
Yes.
And after the 90 days, there'll be no more generator, there'll be nothing left after that.
but you, so was there, did you have to stop the work or deny whatever?
Well, on 2020, August the 11th, the property owner told me that he was getting in contact with SNL Electric for a bid on the electrical service. Almost a little bit over a year later, the electric wasn't done yet. And it's still not done.
Okay.
It comes to a point.
Okay. And
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. Ms. Young, did you wish to speak for 3 minutes?
Really, yes, there has been probably 137 calls. I won't deny any of that. It started out with the traffic at 1:30 in the morning waking us up. January, I don't remember the exact date. And we have moved to protection from harassment. I just got off a protection from harassment order with him April 22nd. May 8th, he followed me to Winsville. It was done in the county. He came off 252nd Road and followed me until I turned and went down the highway. And then I came back up on the highway. And
Madam, thank you. I think you're saying the same thing I am, which just is back to like.
I was
what is
just
it?
going with protection from harassment. We are doing something. You wanted Fort County mental health. I need protection.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And so this is, yes, sir.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is brought before us for consideration tonight, but no action, correct? So
This was just an
information?
information.
Okay.
Just an update.
But if things don't change near soon, then you're going to be, with the other properties, they'll be included with the dangerous structure properties.
Sorry, I ride here.
Okay.
What's the long-term goal, I think, is what we're all trying to get at? 'Cause
Yeah.
keep bringing it up here every week. There's got to be an end game to all this somewhere. Or there's got to be a resolution to it all.
Like I said, it's gotten to the point that I need to go to the next phase on it, which means bring before you city commissioners for consideration as a dangerous structure with other properties I've got to.
So my question is the dangerous structure, the electricity, the lack of electricity?
The dangerous structure is more.
That was what I was trying to get at in my question.
So that's what we're trying to find. So you're saying that electricity being turned on, having someone come and hook that up will not save the house?
The electric would help, definitely.
Okay.
There's other rotting material in there. I've got pictures I can show you all on it. The OSB, which is the plywood on the outside, is rotting from no protection on it, which is siding. That's not on there. I was in the house about 3 years ago or so, and it needs a lot of work in there too. So far as electric inside the house, it looks like it needs to be completely redone too. It's dangerous the way it is.
Which is what Westar or Evergy stated before they would hook it up, right? It has to be re-rained.
The service has to be done by a licensed contractor, licensed electrician. Electrical inside the house can actually be done by the homeowner, but he's got to get a permit for it, just like anything else with sheetrock, siding and all that. He has to get permits for that. And as of today, we don't have one permit either.
Okay.
That's what I was getting with my questions earlier. What all, outside electrical, what all else was there going to need to be done to make it safe? So
there's quite a bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
You had something you wanted?
Yeah.
Well, you can't speak from there. You're going to come up here and you need to just
Say that that's the
really quick.
that I want, have been working on, but he said that he wouldn't issue any permits or else I would have had a lot more of that then. He said he would not issue any permits for me to do that, complete that stuff.
Okay.
The reason I will not issue a permit right now because the exterior of the house, junk and debris around it needs to be cleaned up. And she has been cleaning it up quite a bit. And, I gave her until August the 12th to have that done from 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the night. And I told her, I said, no permits will be issued on this structure because I use the 50-50 rule on a lot of this stuff. If the cost of the repairs to the house is over 50% of the value of the house, then it can be deemed inhabitable. This is well past 50% of the value of the house.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds to me, just what I'm hearing is that now we have a better picture of what Mr. Ellis now is striving towards for compliance. That's what we want. We don't want to take people's houses. We show them to comply. And whatever needs to be done to minimize the time that our law enforcement has to spend on what's really a personal dispute. So I think that's what I wanted to know. We can't make people like each other. We just need to know what our city staffing and the laws and codes, et cetera, to remediate the situation as far as the habitability of the.
Yes, sir.
I say the 50% rule on it. Here again, I'm going to retract some of this. If somebody wants to put $200,000 in a house that's worth $50,000 and to keep it on the tax roll, I'm all for it. The problem is this has been going on for 5 years with nothing repaired on it. And there's been a little bit of improvements done on it and clean up and all that, and that's to the extent of it. It's to the point that, like I said before, 5 years is plenty of time. And the reason I won't give a permit for it until I see progress on other stuff, or that they can show me that they can financially do it too.
Okay. But ma'am, we just keep going kind of back and forth. You want to answer what he's saying. So for discussion among the commission, I think Mr. Bellis and code enforcement would have the say so.
Yep.
What do you think?
me,
Yeah, what do you want?
I don't want anything. I just wanted to hear what was the issues were and what the concerns were from Mr. Bellis. That's what I asked last week and he's answered them. So we got our update and we know what his next plan of action is and there's no action to take tonight. So.
Correct.
Right.
So.
That's what I wanted. The last meeting was just an update where things stood.
I appreciate the information we received from Mr. Bellis as well as from Chief Byrd. And that's a lot more salient. I mean, that's what we have influence over is what our staff is doing in the situation. And beyond that, then there's some other remedies. But I think this is a good report. I appreciate it, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
from both our department heads on this. And it sounds like there's a script that's been articulated here tonight. And with all the parties here, everybody should be clear of what to expect in the next few weeks.
Okay.
Thank you for convening this group, Madam Mayor.
City updates.
Communication and reports. I read that without my glasses.
City manager.
Yeah.
So, so in front of you all,
Oh, there.
so Kansas Municipal Utilities, Department of Health, Wichita State Environmental Finance Center, Renson Financial Code, they go around the state putting on CANCAP courses. It's training for boards and elected officials on water system management. And Arc City is going to be hosting one on August 17th. It'll be 4 to 6 p.m. at the water treatment facility. So if you guys are interested in attending that, it's here in town, and then we'll get you signed up for it. And there's a flyer that kind of talks about some of the things that they go over. The League of Municipal Conference will be October 8th through 10th in Overland Park. So if anybody's interested in attending that, let me know.
How soon do you need to know that?
It has I'll have to look that up. Registration opened July 1st, and I know there's an early bird price on it, but I'm sure, we can, big thing will be getting a room. It's not a problem registering this, but the conference center will be a big thing, so just let me know on that when you can. Nick and I attended the Kansas Infrastructure Hub Summit on this infrastructure dollars that are coming in over the next 5 years. And a lot of the kind of the theme of it was, really is planning and looking ahead. And asset management was a big theme that was repeated over and over. That's something that staff level we're working on is developing an asset management. We already have a lot of that information within our departments, already doing a lot of the data gathering. It's just kind of pulling it together into a one place and one we can track and kind of plan projects and plan the life of our assets, how old things are, the maintenance schedules that need to happen with them, when we need to replace them. So that'll be very helpful as we kind of move into these infrastructure dollars. The other big kind of takeaway from this was there's a lot of formula dollars coming, and those are the dollars that are going to go directly to KDH&E for water and wastewater, and KDOT for roads and all those different things. Even though they're throwing millions of dollars at every state, it's not even going to really be a drop in the bucket what we really need to fix our problems. So, but we still need to go after it. The lead pipe issue is one where they're really putting a lot of money. I don't know that we have that big a problem here, but Rod's working on the inventory, so we'll see. So unfortunately, a majority of the dollars that the feds are sending for water issues are to address lead problems. And I don't know that we have that big a problem here with lead, but we'll find out more about that. But so that was a really kind of a good learning experience to go to that. The archaeology study over on the roundabout, they've had COVID issues and health problems, and they're still working on it. So I keep pushing them every week to see where they're at on it. And I've been in contact with the developer for the retail development, and they're understanding and they're okay. They just, just keeping them posted.
They haven't been paid yet, have they? Yeah.
So, but anyway, I wanted to update you on that. We'll be doing an assessment center for a fire chief candidate on the 21st. So I'll kind of keep you guys posted on how that turns out. We think we have a really, really good candidate. So fingers crossed, we'll be able to hire him. The overlay project on Madison that was supposed to happen here in the next few weeks, there was some planned production issues at KDOT. And so that's been delayed till October 22nd. Since we were supposed to start working on the alley and sewer project right after that, I had Nick get with Chris at Smith and Oaks and move that project up. So hopefully next week they'll have some planned production on that and we can get that.
Yeah, but the other thing's gonna fall in Arcalala, won't it?
What's that?
The October.
Yeah.
Could. But that's when the let date is. So that doesn't mean that's when.
Okay.
So, but they won't be able to let the project till then. And then the last thing I want to update you on, I got a nice surprise yesterday morning from Kevin over at United Agency. We got a refund check for $26,000 from EMC. Apparently they had some, in their formulas they used to help develop rates, there was a number that was wrong in there somewhere, and they corrected it and found that we overpaid $26,000, so they wrote us a check. So throw that back in general fund. One good piece of news for y'all.
Bless their hearts.
Well, let's don't try to spend it.
You're no fun.
That's all.
That's it? Okay.
Oh, and then the other thing, there is a project update sheet. Nick did some revisions on it and put some more information in it for you guys, so you kind of know where things are at.
Anything else?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any further discussion?
Charles, you got something to say?
No, I'll ask him afterwards.
All in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Okay. When you do that project update,
I'm sorry.
just